Well, welcome to tonight's meeting, special called meeting, September 12th. At this time, we would ask City Clerk Beth Cecil to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Jay Bellotta.
Present.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Thank you, Beth. At this time, we'd ask Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright to have our invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
May we pray, please? Dear Lord, we come tonight thanking you for another day that you've allowed us to see. Dear Lord, we pray for those who are dealing with the aftermaths of hurricanes in Texas and in Florida. Please give them the strength to carry on. Thank you for the first responders, dear Lord, who put themselves in harm's way to save and help those. Bless each of us tonight as we need your wisdom to do the business of this community. I pray for our servicemen and women wherever they may be. I ask that you would bring them home safely to their families, dear Lord. These things I ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody. Staff, thanks for being here. Tim, you always give us this little piece of paper. Where's the pizza? No, I was just kidding. We never get anything done. Okay, at this time we'd like to have a presentation, special recognition presentation from the Nikki Hayden family. And I think Tommy's going to do the talking, and just come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and welcome.
Hi, my name is Tommy Hayden. I live at 4600 Medley Road here in Owensboro, and we have our family has a special presentation on behalf of Nikki of one of his helmets that he used actually last year. And Nikki was always very proud of Owensboro, where he came from, and did his best to represent the city in the best way possible. And we thought it would be a great thing to present this to the city, and they could have on display, and kind of to help remember him and what he did. And we'd just like to make this presentation today.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we have a little presentation for you as well. On behalf of the City Commission and City of Owensboro, we thought we would add this little picture from USA Today, July 26, 2006, the Kentucky Kid, and it'll be hung up over there right by the elevator as you come in. And what we're planning on doing is putting your helmet in a, who's got the little, it's already there. We're going to put this in an acrylic case, and that way nobody will steal it unless they have to take the table with it. So we'd like to go out there and present that to you at this time.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Ed.
At this time, for those that are viewing on television, there is a presentation in the lobby where the mayor and the city commission are presenting the location where the helmet will be permanently memorialized in an acrylic case right there at the elevator in the main entrance to the commission chambers. They'll resume the meeting here momentarily.
Do what? I have a motion to adjourn. No, I'm just kidding.
Second.
So moved.
Next item on the agenda is 4B, Red Cross update on hurricane response. We'd ask Evelyn Miller, Director of Western Kentucky Chapter of Red Cross, to come to the podium. State your name and address for the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't know this was going to be such an emotional meeting. Nikki was an awesome, awesome kid. So thank you all for doing that. I'm Evelyn Miller. My home address 4705 Windy Hollow Road. I am the Executive Director of the Western Kentucky Chapter of the American Red Cross. I have with me tonight Corey Gant, who is a member of the Owensboro Fire Department and on the Board of Directors, and he's going to give the update. Corey?
Good evening, Corey Gant, 3501 Christie Place. As Evelyn said, I'm here today to kind of give you all an update of what is going on. Obviously, we're dealing with two major incidents. In the southeast, we're about a week and a half into a Hurricane Harvey response, and we're just a few days into the response with Irma. Obviously, we felt those leftover effects this morning and into this evening. So just kind of update you thus far what's going on with Hurricane Harvey. As of Sunday night, the Red Cross still has over 7,500 people taking refuge in about 33 different shelters across Texas. To date, we've housed over 350,000 people in Texas and Louisiana. We've supported them with over 1.6 million meals to date. And we currently have over 3,400 Red Cross workers, disaster workers on the ground in Texas, with over 500 more that are still being deployed and heading that way. Luckily, the Red Cross has a large network of volunteers and workers, and we are able to sustain these two large incidents going on at the same time. As for what's going on with Irma, thus far, overnight, there was an estimated 208,000 people that had sought refuge from Hurricane Irma in over 680 government and Red Cross evacuation centers across 6 states of the southeast and Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. This was a large storm, obviously, and it's been with us for several days, and it's hit a lot of U.S. territories, and it just continues on. So in Florida alone, there's an estimated 200,000 people in 587 different evacuation centers. Those are the most recent numbers that we have coming from the Red Cross nationally. When you look at things from a local level, the state of Kentucky has deployed over 85 volunteers that have gone down that have been as part of a Harvey response. 8 of those have come from the Western Kentucky area, and 4 of which are from Owensboro right now. So we have several of our volunteers that are down there. Even with these 2 natural disasters going on, the Red Cross locally has not lost our ability to serve and to respond to disasters in our local area, as far as if we have any house fires and whatnot. We also have a lot of donations that have come in locally. One of the big ones, just to know, is Ragu has donated a full tractor trailer load of sauce that's being taken down as a donation to go to Harvey. And then the big thing that we have going on here soon is the Owensboro Convention Center is going to host a music event on September 29th. That's a Friday night coming up here in a couple weeks, and it's going to be a fundraiser, and all proceeds will go to the Red Cross and in disaster relief.
Thank you very much. You know, nobody knows anything about the Red Cross till they need them, do they?
You're right, and I've learned a whole lot more since coming on the board from Evelyn and locally what they do. So it's definitely one of those organizations that we need across this nation. Is there to help people in times of need. And like you said, just people don't realize what they do and what they're there for until they need them.
Well, God bless.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 4C. Some guy named Rex Robinson, he's wants to talk about his downtown mural. There you go, Rex, you got the floor. You got 2.5 minutes.
All right. I'm not sure I can talk that fast, but I have a visual arts center at 425 West 5th Street. It's right on the corner at 5th and Locust. And I've had this model of the proposed new view of the new Bluegrass Center, which is your viewpoint on this. And what it's looking at now is a faded mural that I painted 22 years ago and an empty lot. And I have talked to the owner about the lot and the Bluegrass Museum and different ones that have an interest, and everyone is very positive and very for the idea of this town to make a full embrace of our international honor. And bluegrass music is bringing the world to Owensboro, and they need to see that Owensboro embraces this honor and the status of elevating us into an international city. And we have a welcome mat of the new Smothers Park, and he ties in with the unveiling presentation of the mayor is reinstating the official Owensboro Christmas card for the 25th year. So I brought the mural here. This is a model of the mural with updates of Smothers Park, and I have left packets that have more thorough information of what I've got, and I would like to do the unveiling.
Okay, drum roll. Who's got the drum?
A bicentennial card as well as a Christmas card. And I started it July 4th with the mayor as an audience at the convention center. And it is Bill Smothers' log cabin, the first white man structure in Davis County, with several other historical things wrapped around, starting with the Blue Moon of Kentucky, and with our international honor with that, world's largest sassafras tree that transplanted from Threadcliff Street, which is the Buffalo Road, and this old bull is setting and overlooking all the events as Bill Smothers cooked some burgoo for his Chinese friends that came down the river and decided to help celebrate the 4th of July. So I tried to squeeze in as much information. The mayor is excited about OBKY, and it appeals to the young people really.
I just now see it.
It just happened to be smoked at Horn in that situation. But I'm hoping this would be a very popular idea. And I brought Stacy Higdon, who is the new president of the Owensboro Art Guild, and I'm the vice president again. And we would like to propose to be the sponsor for the card. I've asked the former sponsor, the Owensboro History and Science Museum, 3 times, so they haven't answered me yet. So I would like this to be a fundraiser for the visual Owensboro Art Guild, because the Art Guild is one of our oldest art organizations, but it's not competed with all the other performing arts and the other art organizations in this area. for grants or for annual funds. So I'm hoping that we can work it out the same way that the former administration worked it out with the Fine Art Museum, as they were a sponsor, and give the benefit to the art business.
Sounds good.
All right. So I hope you like it. And if there's
Beautiful.
adjustments I need to make, I'd be happy to do.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Is anybody else jealous that he can do all this stuff? It's oh, I saw you doing it up there on the 4th of July. You got it started, but that's outstanding. And our community is really blessed to have you here. I can tell you that because your talent is unbelievable. So thank you very much. Let us know what we can do to help.
Thank you. I'm happy to be downtown. I claim the cornerstone of our creative downtown district.
Claiming it?
I claim it.
It's a $12,000 fee for that if you claim it now.
I'll back it myself.
Okay.
Annually.
Let that be the visual art end, and the River Park is the performing art.
All right, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you very much. Are you going to leave that here with us?
Well,
No, okay.
be in progress.
All right. Thank you, Rex.
You're welcome.
Do you need help getting that out of here?
Well, I didn't want it to be in the way, but I can leave it here for now.
Just, you can leave it, and we can get it out whenever. We're going to be here till tomorrow, so.
In fact, 2 more seconds.
Oh, 2 more seconds.
The elaboration of this is that
Mayor?
this
Yes.
mural.
No, nobody from the public. They'd want to hear this with the microphone.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But this.
Get the mic and take, you can take,
Oh,
Can you-
yeah, okay. Well, this is Bill Smothers' log cabin.
come off?
That would be a
you can
part-
take it off, Rex.
All right.
See, these artsy guys, I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. I might start singing now. We have kinetic sculpture covering up air conditioner units, and I wanted to expand the mural around the back to unify the odd conglomeration of the different buildings. And I made a proposal to Alorica to take their blue glass building, sandblast it with a tribute to the official instruments of bluegrass. And part of the inspiration for having a small visitor center here with the mural to attract the international audience is to make an amphitheater that could display a 2-part play of the unique view of American history from Western Kentucky and the birth of bluegrass. So I've talked to the theater workshop and different ones, and they're all excited about working with puppets and different things that would help bring this timeline to life. So I thank you for the time, and what I'm trying to do is create some excitement about being ready for the opening of the new Bluegrass Center.
Okay. Thanks, Rex. Commissioner Smith-Wright would like to ask you a question, sir.
Is Alorica going to allow you to do the thing on?
I haven't got an answer from them.
Oh, okay, okay.
I would hope that they would.
Oh, well, we'll nudge them along if we have to.
Thank you.
Okay. You top that, Tim Ross. Next item on the thing is the air show.
Thank you for the challenge, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Commission, Tim Ross, Director of Public Events. The air show is quickly upon us. It has become a signature event for our community. We get phone calls and emails from folks regularly around the region. So we know that it's become a draw, and it's coming up next week, September 22, 23, and 24. And unfortunately, with some of the military activity that's taken place around the globe and some of these natural disasters, we've lost a few military units, but we've still got a great show that's been put together, and I think the community and those visitors are going to be excited about it. Friday starts the activities on the 22nd, and we've got this planned for the airport again this year. Hopefully the weather will cooperate for activities from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's the chance for the community to get out and see some of these aircraft and meet some of the pilots up close. We did it, last year was rained out, but the year prior, and we had 10,000 some odd folks out there over those few hours, and they were quite excited to meet some of these military pilots and look at the aircraft. And there's aerial performances that evening. The parachute team from the Army jumps, and there's several evening activities with fireworks. Independence Bank is a big partner of the air show, and they do a short fireworks display to end the night just before 8 o'clock. So that's the only opportunity for folks to get out to the airport and see these planes up close. Everything else transfers down over to the river on Saturday and Sunday. Friday night, the activities again at the airport. Parking we've got set up in the different grassy fields there along Biddle Road, and it's orchestrated quite well from Wayne and Leland and all the public works crew and support with police department to make it smooth and seamless for everybody coming and going from there on Friday. One of the sponsors for Friday is Kentucky Legend. They're a new one on board this year of our sponsors, and they're sponsoring what we call Community Heroes Night. And they wanted to reach out to our first responders and our veterans to give them an opportunity for something a little special. So there's normally a charge of $2 for adults to get into that airport property to see all those planes on Friday. But Kentucky Legends covering the cost of that for all of our first responders and military folks. And they're also going to have a tent set up that any responders, military veterans can sign up for a chance to win a ride on the Huey Chopper. They're in town. Army Heritage Foundation, and they're doing rides on Cobras and Chopper and Hueys, and they were going to cover the cost for 5 lucky veterans and first responders to go up for a nice sightseeing ride on Saturday. So first responders, military, get out Friday night, go visit Kentucky Legend, and sign up for a chance to win that. Saturday, like we said, the activities shift over the river. Hilliard Lions has been a part of that bridge run for several years, and the activities for that kick off at 7 a.m. So for those of you that like to get out and run, there's a 5-mile run and a 10-mile run. And those are one-way runs is what we started a few years ago. They started at the drive-in movie theater up in Rio. So you can park downtown Owensboro, take the buses that they provide up to the drive-in, and get a nice early morning run on that route that normally you can never run on because cars are going too fast. But we've got it closed with Spencer County and Indiana DOT, Kentucky DOT, so you can get a nice long run to get your warm-up in for 10 miles before the air show later that day. I forgot to mention on that slide, Bridge Day. As soon as the run is done, around 9:30 in the morning, the bridge opens up, and we're always amazed at how many thousands of folks show up out there to just go walk and stroll or casually bike that bridge from 9:30 to 1 o'clock. Saturday the 23rd is the day that you can do that. And then the riverfront transforms that day with crowds all over the place, food vendors up and down the street, all kinds of sponsors and military groups that are kind of showcasing what their different branches of service do. Starts at 1 o'clock, the air show, and wraps up somewhere around 3:30 or 3:45 in the afternoon. There's reserved seating for it. We've got numerous folks that call in and want to know what time they can come down to the riverfront to kind of claim their spot, or if there is reserved seating, so they can buy a seat and not have to worry about getting there too early. So the convention center's got tickets. You can go on the air show website to click through the link and purchase those out on the pier and out on the lower terrace to give you a good seat right there in the show center. The groups that we've got performing this year, the Army group out of Fort Bragg, the parachute demo team, the Black Daggers will be here kicking off the show with the national anthem. As I mentioned, the Sky Soldiers, Army Aviation Heritage Group out of Georgia. So they're bringing in an Army Cobra Chopper and a Huey, and they're offering paid rides that start at $85. We've had quite a few phone calls about that for gifts for friends and family that want the experience of going up in a chopper for a ride with those doors open like they've seen in so many movies and TV shows. It's a great experience. TBM Avenger Warbird will be here on display and doing some flyovers for all the aviation folks. We've got a Sky Raider that'll be here. Patty Wagstaff is coming. She's an Aviation Hall of Fame member, female aerobatic pilot that's been doing it for a long time, has won tons of accolades. She's coming into town a little bit early, and she's going over to the Innovation Academy as well to meet with some of the engineering students over there to talk to them about aerobatics, which will be fun on Thursday. Del Collar's here in an extra, Jack Link's extra doing aerobatics. Gene Soucy's coming back this year with a night show that he does on Friday evening. He's been in the business forever, and nobody's won more awards in aviation, airshow aviation than Gene Soucy. We've got a L-39 Albatross jet that's coming to do a demo. We've got a Black Hawk chopper from here in Kentucky over at Fort Knox. The medevac guys are planning to be over here on display. We've got a C-130 with Kentucky Air Guard that'll be here. Team Aeroshell is back this year with their 4-ship demonstration aerobatics. They also do a night show on Friday. Then the Air Force is sending one of their F-16 Viper demos to do a demo of that jet. And then the Navy's got an F-18 Hornet jet that'll be here. So it's got a whole wide array of different aircraft from civilian and military, and it'll be a great show again, 23rd and 24th. Downtown, lots of parking areas. We haven't had any parking concerns with the air show. Several surface lots and lots of street parking available, as well as the parking garage for folks. All first come, first serve on Saturday and Sunday both. And the other thing that we've got, just to highlight real quick, is we've got an area at the end of the pier that we do a couple of tailgate parties that folks can win a chance to get the best seats in the house. So watch the City of Owensboro Facebook page, and we've got some trivia questions that'll go out there, and the first folks that respond via social media get a chance to win that ultimate kind of tailgate party with food and drinks and their friends to have the best seats in the house for the air show. And all the other information for the air show you can get on owensboroairshow.com. So that's the air show kind of wrapped up, coming up next week for a few days when the skies over Owensboro are much louder than they are on a normal given day. As soon as the air show's done, though, there's several other things coming up. GRADSA, great organization in town, has really built up their signature event, the Buddy Walk. That'll be down at McConnell Plaza the very next weekend. They've got 800 to 1,000 folks that come out there to learn about Down syndrome awareness and all the activities and that they do with GRADSA. Monsters on the Ohio, just a couple weeks after that, biggest catfish tournament in the country, surprisingly, is here in Owensboro. Aaron Wheatley's done a tremendous job building that up, and he's got folks from literally coast to coast that come, more than 200 teams, and so that's a signature event for all you fishing enthusiasts, and everybody in that genre and hobby knows about Monsters on the Ohio.
That's at English Park?
It is at English Park. And then the last one I'll mention is Making Strides. It's a great organization, a great benefit, and they've got thousands of folks that participate in the Making Strides Walk, which is Sunday, October 22nd. So air show right around the corner and several other big signature events in addition to numerous other ones throughout the community. And they can get the information on our city website as a calendar that lists all of these different events in the community.
Well, that was pretty good, almost as good as Rex, but
I try.
Could you just throw a little few words about what we did at the Sports Center this afternoon?
Sure.
If nobody else is going to talk about it.
Sure, I'd love to. We had a press conference today at 1 o'clock to announce a new basketball team, professional team that's coming to Owensboro. We had the Mavericks for the last few years, and the ownership group of the Mavericks decided that they didn't want to be in professional sports management any longer, and so they decided to dissolve that team that they owned. And so the North American Professional Basketball League is a new league that's created from the ownership of that league that the Mavericks used to be in. And we're excited about them coming. They don't have a name yet. What they want to do is reach out to all of their communities, and most of them, they're doing it via social media through the local community that they get to go online and help select what the team name is going to be and a team logo and colors and things like that. So the media will have the website where you can go and give your input as to what you think that team name should be. But we're excited about the group and working with Blake and Jim and the Spectra folks for several months, talking with David Magley that was at the press conference today, and they will start games in January. They're hoping to have a coach for our local market. They're in discussions with them, just haven't finished the contract, but hopefully in the next week or so that'll be wrapped up. And so there'll be more news coming down the road for that, but we're excited about a new team coming back this year to start playing in January.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Probably had more people ask me what we're going to do about replacing the Mavericks than planning and zoning. So it's pretty important.
There's certainly an interest for it, and we're excited about some of the changes to the concession stand and such at the Sports Center. It'll be an exciting year for KWC as well as Catholic, and then the new team in the NAPB.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, Blake, Convention Center year-end report. This has got to be exciting after those two other presentations.
Yeah, I don't know if I could beat this. Mayor, Commissioner, my name is Blake Henry, General Manager at the Owensboro Convention Center, 501 West 2nd Street. Thank you for the opportunity to outline our fiscal year 16-17 year-end numbers for both Convention Center and the Sports Center, which Spectra Venue Management has the pleasure of operating on behalf of the great city of Owensboro. Before I get into the numbers, I'd like to outline, I know the Red Cross touched upon this a little earlier today, about this Owensboro Cares event that we're doing here at the Convention Center. It's a benefit concert between the OCC, City, American Red Cross, Kentucky Legend, Bud Light, and Cromwell Radio. It's a benefit concert that raises funds for hurricane victims from Harvey and Irma right here in Owensboro. So we wanted to give this one consolidated platform for everybody here just to get together and raise some funds for Harvey relief and have some fun while doing it. We've got some great bands for the event. The date is September 29th. The doors are at 6 o'clock. From 7 to 7:30, we have a local band called Blackford Creek. These guys are out of Owensboro. 7:45 to 8:15, I have another local band from Henderson called 5 After 5. Later that evening, 8:15, we have a band out of Nashville called 12 South. They're one of the most sought-after party bands in the country. They play a lot of cruise ships, and they're on reality shows, and it's more than a concert. It's definitely a show. They're covering all hits from the 70s to the present, all music genres, outfit changes, dancing, multiple singers, props, specialized lighting. It's going to be cool, and we're setting up a big dance floor in front of the stage, so it's an opportunity for folks to get out and have some fun and dance, and doing it for a great cause. And all net proceeds go direct to the Red Cross to help hurricane relief.
Is that going to be on the pier?
No, it's inside.
Inside?
Yeah, and it'll be a great event.
Commissioner Condon?
A quick question, please, if you don't mind, Blake. Tim, if I look at the scheduling of the event that night, is that the air show is having their static display and everything else that same night? Is that correct? Week prior, okay. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. I get the schedules right.
And get one of your grandkids to operate your electronics for
Exactly.
you.
Somebody hit the right buttons.
Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for children, so bring them. It's going to have a lot of fun. All right. Let's dig into some numbers here if I can operate this. There we go. All right. So the OCC leadership team that I have with me tonight consists of Laura Alexander, our AGM and Director of Sales and Marketing, Jamie Sheffer, our Director of Finance, Jim Riggs, our Director at the Sports Center, Alan Herzog, our Director of Operations, Mr. Fixit, and Mark Pruitt, our Director of F&B. These guys worked very hard this year. Hats off to them. I couldn't have done it without them, so I'm very proud of them all. Thank you. So we hosted over 261 unique events in fiscal year 2016 and 17. To date, since we've opened, we've had 953 events. Number of guests, this past year, 114,804. And to date, since we've opened, 412,130 folks have traversed our front doors at the Convention Center. Our fiscal year 2016-17 Convention Center operating subsidy was budgeted at $185,563. We're excited to report that we beat that budget, and our actual year-end subsidy was $166,507, which is a $19,000 positive variance. So in all, we beat our Convention Center operating budget by $19,000. Increased sales, last-minute booking, quality programming, watching costs, and working with the new leadership that we have in place here at the CVB has been helpful to achieving that positive variance. So we're really excited to report that tonight. At the Sports Center, fiscal year 16-17, we've had 186 events we've hosted there, and with 73,600 guests that walked through those doors. Our operating budget subsidy was $278,031. And again, we're excited to report that we beat that budget again, and our actual year-end subsidy was $236,459, which represents a $41,000 positive variance. So in all, we beat our Sports Center operating budget by $41,000. How we compare? Take a look at Northern Kentucky Convention Center, located in Covington, Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati. This building is comparable in size and goes after the same state association business that we go after. They happen to be located in a much larger metropolitan market with a larger airport and a lot more resources than we do. But check out their overall gross revenue, which is coming in a little over $2 million. we at the Owensboro Convention Center, we realized over $2.8 million. So we are hustling to make things happen in downtown. Great sales efforts from my staff. So some great work from Spectra to report tonight.
Any questions from the commission?
I've got one. Blake, my question is, we're talking, in the long term about a third hotel, and one of the things we hear a lot is there's certain conventions you can't currently book because you don't have enough room space. Can you address what these numbers might look like had we had, just in a general sense, and more rooms?
Yeah,
nearby?
for sure, absolutely. That third hotel is essential, going after some great state business. Our Kentucky Bar Association, where we just hosted a few months ago, was a great event, a lot of folks in town. But, in order to get them back again, we need that third hotel. And Mark will address some of those questions and elaborate a little bit further on that for you, Commissioner Bob. But it's essential. We need that third hotel downtown to get more business down, state business for sure. And we'll see some real decent numbers as a result of that third hotel come in.
Commissioner Smith-Wright?
Just a comment, the third hotel, being a board member of the Kentucky League of Cities, when we were here, we had problems with people not wanting to be all the way out on 54 and all those kind of places. So, it is essential that we have that third hotel.
Yeah,
and I also want to thank you for the great job that you've done since you've been here. Appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind. Looking ahead, we've seen some significant growth with Friday After 5. We have a great working relationship with this festival. It's obviously growing in the right direction. The festival attracts over 60,000 visitors downtown to our riverfront every year, and that continues to grow. I love going out there and talking to folks, and 1 out of 4 or 3 or 4 people are out of town. They're coming from Indiana. They're coming down from Paducah or Bowling Green to check out our downtown here in Owensboro. So it's fantastic to see that. It brings people together. And it's a really good look for this community. So I'm all in it. We at the Convention Center obviously host the sort of late night kind of action there on the pier. And we're dedicated to making that experience better and drawing more visitors to our downtown area. So, we tried something different with the Low Cash Cowboys. We put that concert in front of the Convention Center. We didn't know how that was going to work, but we drew over 8,000 folks to downtown Owensboro in the process. Great for local businesses. I know these two guys over here enjoy when we book things at the Convention Center. So it's a great look, and I look forward for next year and all the exciting things that Friday After 5 brings to Owensboro. OMG Con, which is an interesting one. It's very colorful, and I love it. They have signed on for another 3 years up until 2020, and their attendance continues to grow every year. It's an entire weekend that draws over 1,800 attendees, and is very profitable for downtown businesses as well. We spoke about the Kentucky Bar Association. We really just need that third hotel to make that happen again. Green Rivers Firefighters Association, the Brian Stiles Officer School, has signed us again through 2020. It's a big annual event, lots of attendees, sells out all downtown hotels, about 1,500 hotel rooms for one weekend in February. So I'm glad that our team has pulled together and we signed on for these guys for the next 3 years. Kentucky Sheriff's Association is coming back again in 19 and 20. Lots of attendees, and we get to thank Sheriff Keith Kane for bringing this event for downtown here. It's a good look, and we look forward to having them again. And many local organizations that work for us each year for their events. I'd like to note Owensboro Health, Independence Bank, Wendell Foster, Kentucky Legend, Right to Life, in Owensboro, Kentucky Wesleyan College, and Owensboro Catholic High School. Looking ahead, Owensboro Health has renewed as the official health sponsor of the Owensboro Convention Center for the next 3 years. We're really happy we pulled that together this year. A great renewal. Thank you very much to our sales team. Thank you very much, Laura, for your hard work in making that happen. Kentucky Legend is a new naming rights partner of the pier. So now it's not called the Convention Center Pier, it's called the Kentucky Legend Pier. And you can see that because it's got its Kentucky Legend embossed logo on the ground there and their banners. So this really ties in with Friday After 5. So I know they spent a significant amount of money sponsoring Friday After 5 and bringing some additional talent, some better music to the pier for next season. So that's going to be great. And Pepsi is the official soft drink provider for both the Owensboro Convention Center and Owensboro Sports Center. So good stuff with Pepsi. And I'm going, any questions here? And if not, I'm going to kick this off to Mark Calitri, the President and CEO of our CVB.
I'd just like to make one comment, Blake. Since I haven't been here but 7 or 8 months, and I guess you haven't been here but 7 or 8 months, I can tell you I'll have some screwball idea and I'll text it to him. He goes, and anything but says, I'm on it. You know, I'm on it. I'm on it. So I personally want to thank you for all the work and you and your team, because I see good movement and being able to continue to make that convention center what it's supposed to be, and that's a revenue generator for our community. So thank you very much for your work, all of you all for your work. And Laura, when you call me and you hang up on me, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank
I
you,
got a
Commissioners.
quick question.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Blake, congratulations to you and your team. Lots of success, and we're glad to have you. But do you see anything that we can do as a community to help you continue these successes? Is there anything that jumps out that says, hey, this is my wish list, what I'd like to see?
That doesn't cost any money.
Sure. Stay positive.
Yeah.
There's tremendous opportunity and growth here downtown. Just keep your head up. Keep pushing for a brighter tomorrow. We're all in it together. We all want to make this community better, progressive, whatever. Just shifting the needle in the right direction. We're at Spectra Venue Management. We love it. We come to work excited and coming up creative ideas to make that happen. I want to work alongside you guys to make that happen. So just doing what you got to do, and just tomorrow's a better day, and that's what we're all about.
Do you see the possibility of something like an open container law that could help you guys more if we were able to write an ordinance that would benefit you and this community?
Absolutely. I think myself and downtown businesses along the riverfront would enjoy that. I think there's some value to that, and it's something to explore.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Mark?
Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, Mark Calitri, President of Visit Owensboro. And I just wanted to take a few moments just to expand and build on what Blake has already started with. As far as the Convention and Visitors Bureau and our analysis, we focused on just a few components of what the Convention Center does. We focused on 69 of the major events that we had. The major events meaning the major conventions, the major trade shows, and from that, those produced over 9,000 room nights. 9,000 room nights. This is not including the weddings and the other private shows and the smaller meetings that they have. So 9,000 room nights, and those produced over $1.1 million of direct hotel room night revenue to the hotels. And so from that, one of the things we have to focus on at the Visitors Bureau is creating a bigger and better economic impact from the venues that we have. So CVB has to continue to deliver more value than we ever have. And as we've talked about the new hotel downtown, we also have a new Best Western being built on South Frederica, new announcement pretty soon about a hotel on Highway 54. So with this new demand of our supply of hotels, it's going to be even more pressure on us to raise our game at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and also work more closely with Laura Alexander and their great staff there. So we're going to be expanding the Convention and Visitors Bureau sales staff. We're going to be bringing on a person here in just the next couple of months and focus mainly on meetings and conventions. So we'll be assisting that sales staff that's already doing a marvelous job, just help support and sell more of the brand of what's Owensboro. We have a award-winning building, top-notch in the state, top-notch in the region. We just have to match that with the service levels that we're providing. So I've been working with Laura just recently as we build up to our new salesperson. We're identifying the most valuable, the top accounts out there that Owensboro should be trying to attract. So that'll be one of our focuses. And that 9,000 rooms that we produced in those major events, there's room to grow that, especially as we start to add the hotel. So that'll be our key focus. And then last is part of what Tim Ross has got our group thinking about is delivering this unforgettable experience. We have this great facility, so we need to expand our experience that we provide here in Owensboro. And one of the things that we do is we talk about Chick-fil-A, the restaurant. You can get a sandwich anywhere, but when you go to Chick-fil-A, they provide just a little bit better service. They'll bus your table for you. They'll give you a refill. They'll state their name when you go and make your order. And so that's the type thing that we're working on our side, to provide those extra volunteers to support the convention goers, providing that extra service to the meeting planners so that we kind of stand out amongst the Northern Kentuckys and the Lexingtons and Louisvilles. And hopefully we'll see that difference going on in the future. And that's my presentation.
Thank you, Mark. You know, we got Blake and Mark, they're foreigners, and you've already accepted the fact that this is a great community and you want to be a part of it, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay. Hearing nothing else, we're going to get on to the mundane business of the City Commission meeting. Item 5A, consider the approval of the minutes dated August 15, 2017. I make a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, is this roll call? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 5B, I'll read all the appointments and we can, if that's okay with everybody. The Apollo Area Neighborhood Alliance Board reappoints Starling Lambert and John Kutzer to a 2-year term expiring September 24th, 2019. The Housing Authority Board appoint Adrian Frazier to fill the remainder of a term expiring March the 20th, 2019. The Owensboro Riverport Authority Board reappoint Rod Kegel to a 4-year term expiring September 30th, 2021. Owensboro Sister Cities and Regions reappoint Beck Glenn to a 3-year term expiring September the 30th, 2020. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Item number 6, ordinances, second reading. Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. The first is ordinance 23-2017. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Section 22-5 of the Owensboro Municipal Code relating to police department allocation by rank, hierarchy, and further revising the City of Owensboro's employee handbook policies and procedures 104, 111, and 112. Publicly read for approval on second reading September 12th, 2017.
Okay, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion from the public? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion, pardon me, roll call? You always do that to me. Okay, we're going to roll call this vote. My bad.
Commissioner Villada,
Yes.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright.
Aye.
Thank you. We roll calling on the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item number 6B, Mr. Ray.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 24-2017 is an ordinance creating a new section 10-8 in Chapter 10 of Article 1 establishing reporting requirements for automatic fire suppression contractors, and further amending references of material safety data sheets to safety data sheets in sections 10-34 and 10-37 of Chapter 10, Article 3, and further creating a new section 10-43 in Chapter 10 of Article 3 establishing identification of hazardous materials, and further amending Section 25-119 in Chapter 25 of Article 4, Division 1 to exempt an emergency vehicle in the course of regular duties from parking prohibitions in a fire or emergency lane. Publicly read for approval on second reading September 12th, 2017.
Thank you, sir. Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith-Wright,
Aye.
Commissioner Villada.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, item 6C, please. Ray?
Ordinance 25-2017 is an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018, and amending Ordinance 9-2017 to revise all beginning fund balances, carry over all outstanding encumbrances, capital projects, and rebudget previously appropriated funds. Publicly read for approval on second reading September 12th, 2017.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion from the public? Ms. Cecil?
Mayor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith-Wright,
Aye.
Commissioner Villada,
Yes.
Commissioner Condor.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 7, Mr. Ray.
First is first reading of ordinance 26-2017 is an ordinance abandoning and closing a portion of an alley at 1843 Willis Avenue between Willis Avenue and Calhoun Street in the city of Owensboro, Kentucky at the request of Charles D. and Laura J. Hagan. Introduced and publicly read on first reading September 12th, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Item 7B.
Ordinance 27-2017 is an ordinance levying ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018 at a rate of 26.2 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real property, 25.3 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of personal property, and 30.3 cents per $100 of assessed value of vehicles, and providing for the collection and apportionment of the same. Introduced and publicly read on first reading September 12th, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Any discussion?
Question.
Commissioner Glenn.
Thank you, sir. Counselor, the one question I have is, explain for the public's benefit, how is the rate, how are the taxes collected for the vehicles? Because I don't, when do you buy a new vehicle? Somebody else?
I
Could
think
I-
I'd
could
ask,
we-
yes, I'd ask it if you would,
I would like
Mayor,
to-
recognize Angela?
Oh, Angela, fine. So how is the automobile portion of the property tax collected? Because
Yeah,
we know
that's-
how we do property tax, but how do
Right,
we do the
that's
vehicle?
collected by the county clerk, and they remit that to us.
So through the
monthly.
county clerk, when you go down and get your, purchase, okay. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. So it's just subsumed in that. Okay, thank you, and thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay. Item number 8. Oops, I got another one. Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Well, we've had a little bit of discussions about collection of the property taxes, and I believe Angela has given a report to myself just going over how we send out so many pieces of mail to collect property taxes or whatever that we do. And I would ask staff if they could in earnest investigate the option, not that it's manual, but the mandatory, but the option of being able to go onto the city website and have a button that you can click on and register for online mailings, property taxes, whatever the case may be, that comes to your email address and telephone number. Whenever the time comes for the taxes to be levied or to be sent out, a push happens to that email address. You can log in, look at your email, look at your tax, pay it actually at the same time. I know that's not, we're not going to be able to do that this year, and I know that I haven't ordered checks in like 3.5 years. I don't hardly even pay a bill with a check, but I understand other people want a bill in their hand. That's what they want, to be able to do that, and I get that. But I would like to see if we can, in some way, start moving our snail mail to actually email or something else to be able to pay our invoices if we could, please. I know that may take a while to do, but I would like to see if it's possible as an option to be able to pay our bills, please. That's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Connor. Commissioner Smith-Wright?
I was just thinking, we think that we all are thanks. We think that we all are computer savvy and all that stuff, but you'd be surprised at the amount of people who don't want to put stuff through emails and all of that because of privacy and all kinds of things, and I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. I'm just saying that,
The world be changing.
Well, I still use checks. You hear me? My daughter doesn't think I should, but
That's right.
it's what I prefer to do.
And that's why I made it ask for it to be optional, not mandatory.
Well, I'm sure they've investigated that over the last couple of years, probably, because, that's been a question before. So maybe they'll give you an answer at another time. I like writing checks too, but they look weird at you when you don't have a credit card. I'm going, I'm writing a check. So, okay, item number 8, Mr. Ray.
Item number 8, Mayor, is a resolution that either I can read or if you prefer. Would you like me to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Resolution 3-2017, the City of Owensboro, Kentucky. Whereas the City of Owensboro has employees invested in the County Employees Retirement System, and whereas the County Employees Retirement System is currently funded at 62%, a higher funded ratio than is prior to the passage of Senate Bill 2. And whereas the Kentucky Employment Retirement System is the worst funded system in the U.S., as was noted by R.V. Coons, Inc., and being set to undergo financial hurdles of persistent funding shortfalls, elevated contribution levels, unsustainable payout ratios, and worst-case scenarios, the potential for complete depletion of the asset base. And whereas total assets of the County Employee Retirement System are about $12 billion, 73% of the total Kentucky Retirement System assets. And whereas administrative costs for the Kentucky Retirement System have increased 245% since 2000, and the County Employees Retirement System pays 63% of those costs. Whereas the County Employees Retirement System is on an upward funding trajectory, and an independent actuary predicts it will be 100% funded by 2045 without any structural changes to the plan. And whereas separation of the County Employees Retirement System would result in the creation of a new 9-member board whose sole responsibility would be the management of the County Employees Retirement System. And whereas the current 17-member Kentucky Retirement System Board of Trustees has only 6 seats for the County Employees Retirement System representatives. And whereas separation of the County Employees Retirement System from the Kentucky Retirement System would mean local control of local pensions and would ensure the needs of the County Employees Retirement System are met so it can continue its current path of growth for years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Owensboro supports maintaining the current structure and benefits of the County Employees Retirement System while separating it from the Kentucky Retirement System. Introduced and publicly read and finally approved in one reading, 12th day of September 2017. And that is not a roll call vote.
Okay, all in favor, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number, let's see where we are. Okay, 8B. I think I'll read that one.
Thank you, sir.
Take a break. Okay, this is a City of Owensboro Resolution 4-2017. It's a joint resolution between Davis County and the City of Owensboro, Kentucky, expressing hope and recovery to the victims of Hurricane Harvey and those in the path of Hurricane Irma. Commending the continued relief efforts by both public and private heroes across the great nation, and extending the heartfelt request to all citizens of Owensboro and Daviess County to pray for and support those affected by these disasters. Whereas Hurricane Harvey slammed into the Gulf Coast of the United States on August 25th, 2017, bringing devastating winds, damaging storm surge, and catastrophic rains to millions of residents in the area. And whereas Hurricane Harvey has left more than 60 innocent people deceased and is predicted to be the costliest natural disaster in American history, exacting horrendous damage valued as much as $190 billion to the infrastructure and towns of the states along the Gulf Coast and our entire southern region. And whereas on the heels of Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, now one of the most powerful storms in history, is headed toward our brethren in Florida and has the potential to be devastating to the entire region. And whereas these storms and their catastrophic impact on the livelihood of those in their zone of destruction pose grave economic and environmental consequences to those areas directly impacted and throughout our nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Daviess County Fiscal Court and the Owensboro Board of Commission as follows. Daviess County by and through the Daviess County Fiscal Court and the City of Owensboro by and through the Board of Commissioners extends their thoughts, prayers, condolences, and heartfelt sympathy to the victims of Hurricane Harvey and those who may be affected by Hurricane Irma in the days to come. And salutes the thousands of men and women and children who are tirelessly working to bring relief to these hardest hit by these catastrophic storms, and recognizes the sacrifices being made by so many first responders across the nation to try and rescue and comfort those in need and secure what is left of those areas devastated and those areas being evacuated ahead of Hurricane Irma, and urges the federal, state, and local governments, entities, to take appropriate and compassionate action to assist victims and their families of these disasters and to continue with education, preparedness, response, and mitigation as our nation recovers, and pledges their continued support of the local governments and their leadership who are, for years to come, will continue to face the economic and human struggles of cleaning up and rebuilding their communities from the aftermath of these historic tragedies, introduced and publicly read and finally approved on the 7th day of September 2017. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks to Mr. Ray for writing those. Very well done. Okay. Item number 9A, municipal orders. Mr. Ray.
I would make one note, if I could, Mayor, on the resolution you just read. Again, with the timing of the writing of this for the fiscal court's meeting, you'll see references, obviously, to Hurricane Irma's path, but that was so that the fiscal court's reading of this and their passing of this was before the hurricane hit. So ours tonight certainly goes out to all those that have been affected. On to Municipal Order 26-2017. It's a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement between the City of Owensboro and St. Benedict's Homeless Shelter, providing up to $5,500 to the shelter this fiscal year, and then up to $2,750 each subsequent fiscal year over the next 5 years, with such funds being used to pay the cost of white flag events. This is introduced and publicly read for approval on one reading, September 12th, 2017.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Discussion from the public? Whoop, whoop. Couldn't see you.
Thanks. James Lacey Camiff, 1119
James, where you been?
Apartment 4, Owensboro, Kentucky. God bless America.
Amen.
I've been here in Owensboro. I haven't gone anywhere. I just haven't made it down to the commission meetings, unfortunately. I meant to stay more involved, and time just flies by. I apologize for not even watching on YouTube. I want to commend the commission for using the YouTube system to record the videos. I think that's a great step forward. If people really do want to follow the commission, that's a great way to do it. And archives the commission meetings, and so I'd just like to commend you guys for doing that. And
Thank you.
any kind of progressive's kind of controversial. I don't know why, but improvement to our local government, I appreciate. Even if we want to pay our bills through email or through the web, I think it's a great thing. I personally have more problems with checks anymore than anything else. But anyway, I just want to say that St. Benedict's is a great shelter, and I do think they're doing a good Lord's work there, I tell you. And I'd encourage anybody, if they want to donate to something, that I really believe that they make this a better community, reduce crime, and just help some really unfortunate people that need some help. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9B, Mr. Ray.
Municipal Order 27-2017 is a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement with Deer Valley Subdivision LLC, providing for the consensual annexation of unincorporated property located in Davis County, located east of Barron Drive and the Wendell Ford Expressway, containing 81.7 acres more or less, and further providing that the city shall reimburse Deer Valley Subdivision LLC for the cost of construction of various public facilities dedicated to public use for said property and the maintenance within or for the direct benefit of said tract in an amount not to exceed the total cost of the public facilities or the total ad valorem net profits and occupational tax revenues derived from the property, whichever is less over a designated 7-year period. Introduced and publicly read for approval on one reading, September 12th, 2017.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from the commission? Commissioner Condor.
Mr. Ray, other than the TIF out on 54, what has been the largest annexation the city has done in the last, whatever, 20 years?
Well, there's two measurements, Commissioner, for how large an annexation is.
Yes,
obviously, we have one is geographic and one is economic. There have been several large annexations from an economic perspective. The one over there on the east side of the bypass by 54, and which has Cheddar's and all the way down to Kohl's. We have a large economic one that's on the opposite side there, which is with Menards and Myers and a new Longhorn Steakhouse that's coming in, and several restaurants and stuff there. As far as acreage goes, this is one of the largest that we've done since I've been with the city of Owensboro.
It is to be applauded and noted that geographically, all of us have wanted, I believe, to expand our tax base as much as we possibly can to grow our community. And you don't get these type of shots very often as they come along. So accolades to staff, yourself, Ed, everyone who is involved in doing this is fulfilling a promise that I believe we all share in growing the city of Owensboro out and continuing to do so. So thank you very much for all your hard work in doing this.
Well, it's a good team effort, and I would note that Deer Valley Subdivision is a company owned by Jago, and so basically a Jago development, and they've been a great team to work with to make this all happen.
Mr. Ray, you know, when we do these annex agreements, what's the time frame that we actually do generate some revenue from it?
Well, Mayor, generally speaking, what we have developed over policy for the last 10 to 15 years, is that a standard small commercial or any residential annexation typically has a payback period of 5 years. The benchmark for looking at alternative incentives to really encourage those larger developments has been whether or not that development will have $50 million or more in infrastructure and development once it's built out. This is approximately a $60 million build-out, which is the largest residential annexation that we've ever done. And this payout is over a 7-year period. So there's a couple of things. One is that we will see immediate impact to the budget when the occupational taxes and things during the initial build-out period before they activate go back into the general fund. It's estimated there's about $10 million in labor for this particular annexation. So that will go into the general fund. After that point, when that's already activated and they start generating revenue back for their cost of public infrastructure. Now, what I mean by that is the cost that they front to do things like city streets, city lights, sewer, water, stormwater, all those things. In this particular one, they're going to continue to maintain the basins and the common areas, which typically we will do in this particular one in exchange for working out the terms and conditions. They're going to maintain those for us. So our payout will start immediately seeing the benefit. We'll have about 300 new residential units within the city of Owensboro, so our population grows. Throughout the entire period, even the payback period, that amount of reserve, 0.33 of an occupational tax, if any generated after the activation, also is retained and not included in the payout. So we'll see an immediate benefit, but the biggest thing is that there's a whole lot of folks that will be delivering wood and doing excavation work and cement work. And I think here in Owensboro, if you don't have a job, it's because you don't want a job. So I expect immediate benefits to the city of Owensboro.
Thank you. That's always a question that a lot of people ask, why are you doing that? Perfect explanation. Any other discussion? Have we voted yet?
No.
Commissioner Glenn?
One more question here. So when do they expect to break ground, or do we know yet?
This plan is going to the Planning Commission the day after tomorrow, and based on their history, you may see somebody breaking ground Friday morning, the way that they move with those developments. So they want to break ground as soon as they get the permit to do so.
And then the only other question I have is the streets that'll bound this, Barron Drive, some of these other streets, are they required as part of the OMPC process to make amend? Because there's a lot of people that live right next door to where they're going to develop, and that's good. It'll improve their property values. But I'm just wondering, is that addressed in the plan? Because Barron Drive is very narrow, as an example.
Well, I've looked at the plans even as recent as this afternoon, and I don't recall a turning lane from Barron Drive. But what I do notice is that anyone that's been in Thoroughbred Acres and gotten lost, you'll have some alternate ways to get through there, and it really marries up inside the bypass, being able to come through and access onto Barron Drive and then get back through into Thoroughbred Acres. So it takes some congestion, some turning pressure off from Carter Road, which is a good thing. Barron Drive will see more traffic, and those folks that routinely go 55 miles an hour on Barron Drive, there'll be some trucks in your way for the next couple of years while that happens. So I think the plan is well thought out, but most importantly, I think that you should feel comfortable in it because we have a fantastic engineering team and public works team that's really looking at it in detail. And they have worked well to get it to where it's at. So I'm very comfortable with the plan.
Well, thank you. And the west side often complains that they're not getting the pace of growth that the east side is. Well, here's an affirmation. We're working on both sides of town, and the whole community is benefiting. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Mayor?
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ray, item number 9C.
Thank you. Municipal Order 28-2017 is a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute an application for a Transportation Alternatives Program, or TAP funding, authorized under the Surface Transportation Block Grant, STBG, under the Fixing America's Surface Transportation, or FAST Act, from the fiscal year 2016 to 2020, administered by the Federal Department of Transportation. by and through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet in an amount not to exceed $690,025, and proceeds of which will be used to fund programs and projects defined as transportation alternatives, and further authorizing the mayor to execute other agreements, instruments, and documents necessary and appropriate for said funding, a 20% match being required of the city, introduced and publicly read for approval on one reading September 12, 2017.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the commission? Any discussion from the public? I guess we should say that the 20% is going to come from our community division.
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay, and it's already budgeted, is that correct? Okay. All right. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ray. Excellent job.
Yes, sir.
Item number 10, city manager items.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd ask you to
What?
recognize Ms. Hamrick for the financial report, July 31st.
Ms. Hamrick.
Yes, Mayor and Commission, the financial report for the month ended July 31st, 2017. General fund revenues through July 31st of $3,947,510 were $205,054 over budget, primarily due to occupational withholding tax and insurance license fee collections. The general fund expenditures of $3,793,601 were $758,134 under budget, primarily due to savings in personnel services and timing of expenditures in maintenance, supplies, and capital purchases. Sanitation fund revenues of $720,472 were $113,779 over budget, primarily due to sale of capital assets. Sanitation expenditures of $234,032 were $1,360,054 under budget, primarily due to tipping fee cost and timing of capital outlay. Expenditures in the transit fund and recreational fund were under budget. And I also have.
Do you have my little cheat sheet?
I have your sheet.
Okay,
so, yes. So if you will refer to the last page of your financial packet, there'll be a sheet titled Revenue Analysis. And what we've done here for you, Mayor and Commission, is to reflect expenditures, revenues, and the net at the 1.06 rate, which is the general fund portion of the 1.39, and compare it to the 1.45 rate, which is the general fund portion of the 1.78. With our tax increase of 0.39%, you'll see that we had a surplus through the month of July of $153,909. Had we not taken the occupational net profit increase, you would have seen a deficit for the month of July of $302,043. So what that 0.39% increase did for us was gave us additional $455,952 for the month.
Thank you. So will we get these like every month?
Every
then?
month it'll be a page in the financial packet. Yes, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Budgets for dummies. I appreciate it. Okay. Any other discussion? Anybody from the public? Okay, I'd like to have someone make a motion to file for audit, please.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Hamrick. Item number 10B, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm asking the City Commission to consider the following personnel appointments tonight. Randall Foster, probationary full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment, police lieutenant, effective September 17th. Jason Lee, probationary full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment, police sergeant, also September 17th. Brandon Harden, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment, firefighter, effective October 2nd. Teresa McKenzie, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment, accounting clerk, occupational license fees. Joseph Wright, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment, fire lieutenant, effective September 5th. Eric McManaway, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment, mechanic, effective September 26th. Melina Bruchette, Ashley Combs, Victoria Penarelli, probationary full-time non-civil service appointments telecommunicators effective October 2nd. Christine Deckerson, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment as a police officer October 2nd. And Easton Russellberg, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment police officer October 2nd. Whitney Adamson Payne, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment police officer effective October 2nd, contingent upon successful completion of post-offer testing.
Okay. Any discussion? I have one question, City Manager. It's a little bit confusing to me. How many of these people are actual new hires?
If it says non-civil service appointment probationary, they're new hires. If it says regular, they're folks who have completed their 1 year of probationary period or being promoted.
Okay, so there's quite a few new hires then.
That's correct.
Because we lost a couple of really great police officers in the last
correct.
couple of weeks. Okay, any other discussion from the public? Okay, hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10C, City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to add one other item of business tonight. I'm pleased to report that our Finance Department has received once again the National Government Finance Officers Association Award, the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. What that means to the Commission, more importantly to the public, this has to do with the audit that is conducted by an outside agency. A private firm comes in, goes through everything we did with taxpayer dollars for the past year. Angela's department passed that completely. The public can be assured that there's been no monkey business with taxpayer dollars, that it's clean, crisp, good accounting, and it's transparent. That's out on the web for our citizens to see anytime they want to review it. Angela has made this look easy, Mayor and Commissioners, because she gets it every year. It is not easy. Not every city in the country nor in this state receives this award. Mayor, I think it's deserving of your awarding of this plaque, if you don't mind.
I'll be glad to. Oh, gosh. You got a real plaque.
It's heavy duty.
Okay, Angela, let's go out front. Anybody got any cameras left?
Left.
We all got one. We got a phone.
Who wants this green outfit in a picture? Okay, I'm going to read it. For the folks, it says Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting presented to the City of Owensboro, Kentucky, Executive Director, I can't read his name. So you accept that on behalf of this community for an outstanding job. It says 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Congratulations.
Not mine.
37, excellent award. Well, I mean, that's a big deal out of this one, then.
It's a big deal. It's a pleasure and an honor working for the city of Owensboro, and it's definitely a collective effort, primarily Danae Galloway, who's in the budget commission, her on the work as well. She's our deputy director of finance, and all the department heads.
Now, I don't believe I've ever beat her leaving this place. I leave at 6 o'clock, she's still in there. I know where it really is. So, she wants to speak to you, so that's a compliment to you, but thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you, Governor. All right, Miss Cecil, where am I now? Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Smith Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to thank all those who participated in the Freedom Walk yesterday. It was a great day. We had more people this year than we've had in a long time, and I appreciate Father Hostetler from Brusher University for being our kind of keynote speaker, and all those people that had anything to do with it. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Glenn.
I just want to say I had the pleasure and honor, as I had before, of doing the proclamation for Reunion Day at Owensboro Regional Recovery, and it's inspiring to see, by the way, Commissioner Condor came with me, and it's just very inspiring to see the great work that they're doing to help these men regain their lives and regain their purpose. And I always enjoy going there, getting to talk to them and interact with them, and or in all of these counseling centers, Lighthouse and all, Friends of Centers are just doing an incredible job. So we need to keep that in mind.
Now, I remember Governor Fletcher presented us with that opportunity, and everybody put up such a fit because it was so close to Fiddlesticks. And to my knowledge, Chief, you may have a different. We've had no issues out there in that area, and if you've ever been involved with someone or yourself with addiction, it's a bad deal, and they do a great job. So we need to recognize them. Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner Glenn?
The only other thing I wanted to say, and I appreciate your support of Wendell Foster, they had a great event the other night, and I've got to be honest, they played this tape from Paul Harvey commemorating and talking about the origins of the Wendell Foster Center and the great work they do. And I had not heard that video before, and it was incredibly inspiring, and it made me even prouder of our community that we have this, again, this great resource in our community helping people with cerebral palsy and all these disabilities. And Terry Bronson and the staff should be greatly complimented. And I've toured the center, and it is amazing what they do for the families, what they do for the clients. And they're out. These people are out. They are mainstream. They're out there. They're going to the movies. They're living their lives. And that center is just doing incredible work. So, and I appreciate you supporting their event the other night, because I know you did.
Well, I've had an opportunity to take care of those young folks for 40 years, and at one time it was the only adult CP home in America, and we had a lot of support from Bob Green. I remember arguing with him about this swimming pool. He thought they was all going to drown, but it's been a tremendous asset over there, and you're exactly right. Terry was retired, and he came back to kind of right the ship a little bit, so to speak, and keep it going. And I've actually taken some of my football teams over there to show these young men what it's like just to struggle, stand up, much less play a football game. So it's a wonderful place. So, Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just really want to acknowledge Commissioner Smith-Wright. The Freedom Walk that she is so passionate about. There were, 3 years ago, I think, Commissioner, where you only had 20 people maybe show up. Last year, David McCready, God rest his soul, was the last time that he walked. And David couldn't walk very far. Even with his cane, he couldn't walk. And the parade continued on. But I thought, nobody's going to be left behind here. So I stayed with him. He gave you part of the 9/11 medal, I think, for a cross or something like that, didn't he, Pam? And it was really emotional to see someone like that walk like he did from the sports center and couldn't walk anymore until he got to Station 1 down on 9th Street. He thanked me for it and walked on into the firehouse. That was actually the last time I got to say anything to David. So, Pam, I appreciate that memory of it in itself will last for a long time. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Vallada.
Just to echo what Commissioner Condor said, and congratulations on what I feel was successful in a Freedom Walk. Pam, you did a great job organizing that, and I encourage people to get out and participate in these events. It meant a lot to me to be able to just participate, and looking forward to the Veterans Parade. Make sure you guys come out in force for that. We need to show our support for those folks in our community. So great job. Thank you. Real quick, well, not really congratulations, but thanks to the Chamber for bringing in Pat Yates and his Happy Feet. I think that was a very entertaining but yet informative view of Owensboro by when a gentleman that's been very successful in his life has come back and compliments our city on some of the great things we're doing in our downtown corridor. We got something to be proud of, and he tells us that we need to make sure we remember that. So we do every day when we have the opportunity, and we like folks to understand the fact that we've got a great community here. Let's keep going. And part of that is pride in our community. I've made mention before, I walk a lot. I'm out in the community seeing things, and I'd like to see a better initiative. I'm going to start putting together a program or a package and present it to you guys for where we can do a few more things as a community and maybe get the public involved and where they can come out and take a little more pride in just basically little things like picking up your yard and making sure your grass is mowed, stuff like that. And maybe we can figure out ways to help each other, similar to what Pam does with the Giving Back program that she's done and been so successful for in the past. Welcome the NAPB League. We had a great presentation today. Glad to see basketball coming back to Owensboro. I was afraid we was going to miss it this year. And I'd like to invite everybody down to the Buddy Walk on the 30th. It's going to be a great event. I get the opportunity and the privilege and honor to MC that event, and looking forward to that and helping out that organization. It's a great day for everybody and supporting our community in another way. So thank you, Mayor, thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, everybody, for making it a great community.
Thank you, Commissioner Velada. You know, you could wind that into the Neighborhood Alliance scenario if you want to try and get more folks, because they've already got it set up to, you know, do certain things like that. So it might be one avenue for you to participate.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, my official comments. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Owensboro Fire Department for their efforts in not only fire protection, but also risk reduction efforts, such as community-based fire prevention and fire safety education programs. By receiving the 2016 Life Safety Achievement Award from the National Association of State Fire Marshals, Fire Research and Education Foundation, and participate in partnership with Grinnell Mutual Insurance. The outstanding efforts of programs established by the Owensboro Fire Department to include community-based partnerships resulted in 0 fire deaths in 2016 and a reduction in direct and indirect fire-related damage. Only 160 fire departments in the United States of America received this coveted award for 2016. At this time, I'd like to recognize Chief Mitchell and present him with this certificate. They don't talk much. He emails a lot. They don't talk.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission. Steve Mitchell, Fire Chief. You see in the paper and the media the bad stuff we have to go to. You see the fires and the wrecks and things like this. But this is really great that our fire prevention and fire and life safety efforts are actually being recognized, because that's what we're really here for, is we want to reduce the risk, and this is the stuff we want to do. So we got this award back in 2013. And we were very happy about that. 2016, we really ramped up our new programs. And in 2017, we've been doing that again, so hopefully we'll be eligible again next year. But Grinnell and the fire marshals, they only give this to the top 1% fire prevention programs in the nation. And this is your service to your community, and you support that, and we greatly appreciate that.
I had spoken to a couple of the folks from the 9/11 deal back when that happened, and that story about the rest of us running away from danger. You kept running right into it. So that was very grateful for all you folks do. Congratulations. Well-deserved award. Picture $5 now. It's after 6:30, so it's $5 a picture.
Congratulations.
Okie dokie. At this time, we have open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that is not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of the commission. City commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. The meetings are not intended to serve as public forums for candidates or who are campaigning for political office. Political candidates, like any citizen, may address any item on the city commission agenda. During the open public forum, the citizens of Owensboro may address a specific city-related issue not on the agenda, but candidates for any political office will not be allowed to use the commission meeting to promote their own candidacy. This time, anyone who wishes to address the city commission, please make their way to the podium. To be recognized, speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record, limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission. The mayor reserves the right to extend the time to the speaker. So anyone want to make, oh, you already been up there
I
once.
know.
Okay.
James Lacey Camiff, 1119 Pembroke, United States of America. God bless America. I wrote an email way back in the winter about this subject, and I apologize it's taken me so long. It actually came up at a debate at the Neblett Center, Mayor, and it involved you, actually. And it was a question, it may not even be relevant anymore. I apologize, I don't attend the city commission meeting, so this may not even be relevant. Like a Rosanna Dana go off on a tangent here that doesn't even apply, you know.
Did you get to the point?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and the thing of it is, and I mentioned it to Commissioner Condor the other day, and he said, well, you ought to just come down and get a public mic and talk about this. But at the back of the debate, the comments were limited to 60 seconds by the candidates. And that's when I got up and said, well, you know, that's kind of the way I feel about the city commission meetings, that a previous mayor changed that to, we only had 60 seconds to respond to issues before the commission. And I think you wholeheartedly agreed at that time it's very difficult for the average person to get their message across in 60 seconds articulately or intelligently about any subject. So you, at the time, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Mayor, but you kind of agreed that shouldn't be the policy of the city commission officially, that people that want to address the commission openly at the mic have longer than 60 seconds to address the commission. So my question is, I'll finally get to that.
Okay, you've got 59 seconds. Okay, we'll go.
Has that policy officially changed? You know, I felt like it was kind of introduced over me. I know it sounds egotistical or whatever, but is that the official policy of the commission? That,
well, as I just read, it said limit the remarks to 3 minutes.
Well, no, I'm not, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm not talking about the open public mic. I'm talking about particular issues that come before the commission, because that response time was changed to 60 seconds. And are you going to officially change that, or has it been changed, or is that something? It just seems like we ought to be consistent and not some people get plenty of time. And again, I don't want to be controversial, but if they bring a lawyer up, the lawyer can speak as long as he wants to about a subject, whereas individuals are limited to 60 seconds. So I'll just sit down and wait for your response. Thank you.
Well, I personally, if they're going to get up and make a legitimate statement and not bloviate or filibuster the idea, you know, I'll let them talk. But you know, it's just a difficult thing, you know, to let somebody just sit there and continue to talk and repeat themselves. And the other problem, I wish you'd stand up so I could see you.
Well, I'll be glad to.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to.
You know, and then a group comes here, and I've asked, you know, I would ask a group as I did before, you know, get you a spokesperson. You don't need to hear 8 people say the same thing.
Oh, I totally agree.
So, you know, we're just trying to move the meeting along.
I understand.
Let the people have their say, and I don't have any specific policy unless city manager tells me I have one. You know, I just, you know, I'm just not going to let, you know, the big issue the other one night was planning and zoning. This guy got up and just went on and on and on.
My
So
only
it's just
suggestion
difficult.
is, if I could interrupt again,
We
my
already
suggestion
have, but
is,
go
is 60 seconds is just too short. I mean, I just ask that there be consistency. We say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, set a time limit that's reasonable. And I agree with you. There are people who just go on and on, I'm sorry to say, repeat themselves over and over. But at the same time, in 60 seconds, if you try to introduce yourself, your name and your address, and begin to talk about an issue, your time's up. And I just would like some consistency. I felt like in the past, some of the meetings, some people were allowed to go on, some people weren't, and just, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we'll take it under advisement, and talk about it amongst ourselves, and so far, it's not been an issue as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about the rest of the commission, but it hasn't been a real issue. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Let's go to the mic, Tim. I have to tell you, I've loved his dad for 50 years, and he's no longer with us, but every time I look at him, I think of Tom Turner, and so I'm welcome you to the mic.
Thank you. Tim Turner, 118 St. Anne. I've said this privately to a lot of different individuals, and I have not ever said it publicly. And Mike and I took a chance on Owensboro 4 years ago. I was retired, he was retired, and we built FETA. And we appreciate all the city commission and all the former commission and the former mayor and all the different things that people have helped us with. And we have a superstar right here and his crew.
I agree.
And we're very, very proud of Blake and what he's brought to Owensboro and the dynamics and the energy. And I publicly want to thank him and his staff for their contribution to our community.
Thank you. I agree. Okay, anybody else? Okay, item number 13. We'll consider a closed session under KRS 61.8101B to discuss the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency. So I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. And we really don't anticipate any action after the meeting, Mr. Veed.
I'm out of here.
Goodbye, Mr. B.
Okay, now you all can go home, and we're going to continue to work on behalf of the citizens of Orangeburg.